Hey, feels like forever since I've seen you, but it was just last week if you're watching every week, and might have been forever if this is the first time you've ever turned on this program. I'm Stephen Peterson, and this entire program is to try to encourage you to say you're just one routine, one habit, one pattern away from success, from breakthrough, from you're going to stop being stuck. You won't be stuck anymore, but you have to stop doing the same thing that has failed you. Patterns can release tremendous amounts of power, or patterns can be a prison where you're stuck in a bad relationship, stuck in a bad job, stuck in a bad way of thinking. And so, in less than 15 minutes, if you will act on one thing I say, your life will start to change for the better. Money back guaranteed, especially since I'm not asking for any money from you. And so here's the pattern we're going to work on, and it's seeds. I've got here my made out of pewter. I believe it's pewter, salt, and pepper acorn shakers, because I teach so much on uh, a weed. It's just something that pops up. I've had a habit that's been going for months, if not longer, of walking 3 or 4 days a week on a treadmill. I pulled something and it felt like I was coming down with a cold, and now it has been weeks since I've walked on a treadmill, at least 3 weeks. I was going to do it before this program, but one thing after another happened, and for me to get this recorded in, excuse me, I had to give up on my old pattern of walking on a treadmill. So after this program's over, weather's starting to change, starting to get nicer, I'm going to have to start a new pattern. I'm going to walk on the treadmill, or I'm going to walk outside. I'm going to get my walk in no matter what. And so that's a weed. A seed is a good pattern. You work out 4 times a week. I read book after book and article after article on patterns and thoughts and habits and routines. And there's a common theme. And one of them is small incremental change. And you've got to reward yourself for doing something that's new, that's harder, but you've got to get rid of a routine too. And so today, I'm going to be talking on the pattern of seeds. They're either these three things I'm going to talk about are seeds or weeds. Where you do nothing, a weed will come up. I was on vacation for a week. It came back. The lawn had been fertilized and cut and watered, and it rained, and yet weeds were popping up. Weeds will fit in any place. Where seeds, you have to make a place for them. There's a friend of mine, and she's getting older, and she loves to garden, and she can't get out and garden and bend over, so her daughter did something wonderful, bought her hanging baskets. She's got a hanging basket of tomatoes and a hanging basket of different kind of herbs. She loves garlic and basil and oregano. And so this person who can no longer physically garden now has these hanging baskets at about 5 feet, and with help from her family and friends, she's gardened, and they look pretty as they hang out all over the outside of her house. But they're seeds. You have to prepare. You have to prepare the ground. You have to put in a certain amount of mulch or things that'll help it grow, and also things that'll help kill weeds. And so the first seed I want you to plant and weed to get rid of is your thoughts. Watch what you think. Watch what you listen to. Your thoughts, Solomon said something, watch over your mind, because your mind controls everything that you do. Your thoughts, if you're going to quit your job, it's a weed. It's either a weed or a seed. If it's a seed, I have another friend of mine, she's ready to launch out on a whole new career. That's a seed. She's been looking for months. She's taken different classes online to prepare for this new job. She's given 2 weeks notice to her boss. It's a pattern. It's thought out. You have to make room for that. That's a seed. A weed is something that comes up and says, I've had enough of that. I'm not taking that anymore at work. I'm going to walk in and quit today. Now maybe you should. Maybe you're in such a bad job. But you see the difference between a seed and a weed? A weed is just something that happens. No, I'm not going to prepare. I'm not going to look out and see what kind of jobs are available for me. It's a great job market right now, but it may not be in the field you want to be in. And so A seed is something that you prepared and planned and looked out for. You don't have to look out for every possibility, but you have to. It's what's the saying my mother used to say when I was a little boy? Look before you leap. In other words, don't just jump off onto anything. So it's your thoughts. Watch over your thoughts. Be careful what you're thinking on, especially if you're thinking on, they're out to get me. Well, one, who are they? And two, I asked somebody to do something once, and oh, I can't do that. What they'll say about me. Well, if they are talking about you, I don't know who they are, but if they're talking about you, they're talking about you anyway. But more than likely, most people I know are busy thinking about themselves. They're not thinking about you or thinking about me. I once had that thought over this program. What is so-and-so, or what is this group going to say? I'm not sure that group has ever watched one program. They're worried about their life. They're not worried about me. I got to do what I feel like I have to do. So your thoughts, your words, change your language. This was one of the books. And this was, both of these were serious people. One was a therapist, a social worker therapist, who worked mainly with drug addicts and alcoholics who have failed therapy more than 3 times. So you're getting down into the group where you can't help them. And one of the things she said is, you have to change your language. You have to change your language, what you're saying, what you're doing. Oh, I'm such a failure. Now, just changing your language isn't going to be enough, but this lady wrote, that's where you start. Quit speaking against yourself. There's enough enemies to any kind of success or progress out there. You don't need to join that group of speaking against yourself. Stop it. You may be the only person speaking for you. Start saying to yourself things you wish others would say about you. Right before this program I was driving by Director Gracie. I have a little compilation of things that I wish people would say about me. And maybe something somebody has said almost as a throwaway line. Well, I wrote them all down, and I've decided to compile my own little book, even though most of them are things I've said about myself. So if I hear anything about me, the first thing I hear is something positive, something good, something even constructive. It can be critical, stop doing that and start doing this. I did a program for another group, and they had a Hollywood director. He'd done documentaries and feature films and more documentaries. It drove him crazy how I talked with my hands. He made me sit on my hands, literally. I sat on my hands like this. And you know what? When I watched what he did, I liked it better. But he's not here to tell me, and I think I'm going to hurt myself. But if I remember, maybe the next program, I'll do something where I put my hands under my table here and see if I can go a whole 15 minutes. See your thoughts, your words, your actions. Actions. Seeds are looking for a place to be prepared for them. There's a stretch in my boulevard in my yard that I don't know what happened. Sprinkler wasn't working. I mean, it's 10 feet long and it's dead. So my son and I, and of course I was doing most of the supervising, very little of the work, we're out there, and you've got to put all sorts of fertilizer and mulch and grass seeds and things with it. And I looked at it earlier today, and it's not green yet. He said, yeah, it's going to take weeks. Real change, real action is going to be slow most of the time. It's going to be maybe even tedious, but all good growth is slow growth. Weeds grow overnight. That's not good. Cancer is a good cell. Now, again, I apologize to any oncologist or doctor if this is oversimplification, but cancer is merely a good cell that's begun to multiply way too fast, and it takes over that part of the body and tries to take over the whole body. Now, please, I think that's just a good picture. All good growth is slow growth. Your actions, these are seeds, like my walking. I promise myself, I'm not promising you, because you don't care if I walk or don't walk, I do. You don't care if I exercise or don't exercise, I do. So I promise myself that today, before the sun goes down, today before midnight, because I might go for a walk in the dark, I don't know. But today, the walk I didn't do on my treadmill, I will do outside. And that'll be part, not of it, it's not punishment. It's part of a pattern. Maybe my mornings are going to be too busy for me to do that from this point on. I don't know. But I'm going to find a place. See, I'm going to prepare a place and say, look, this 30 minutes is mine to walk, to exercise, to do whatever I feel is necessary to get into better shape. It's an action. Your thoughts, your words, your actions. Now remember, weeds grow any place. They'll grow any place. And you know what weeds will do? Weeds will grow and shove out a seed. I would have bet money I would never get out of the pattern of walking on my treadmill. But between, like I said, slightly pulled muscle, and I got a cold, and I said, no, I'm not going to get sick. And I didn't get sick. I'm going to conserve my energy. I'm going to put it into getting healthier instead of walking and then having a long day. But you know what I did? That one weed came in, and it crowded out not just a seed, it crowded out a sapling. Acorns go from little, this is a real acorn, this is a pewter acorn. You plant it and it begins to grow, and when you see that little, you'd call it a sapling, it probably can't even stand up on its own, but you know that seed is in there, it's producing, I'm going to get the benefits out of it. And again, you plant one good seed, and all of a sudden 2, 3, 4 other things happen just because they come along with. Weeds do that too. They'll bring in one bad pattern, they'll bring in one bad person. Now I've got less than 3 minutes to tell you this one. And this one's real serious because it's easy to, you might have to get somebody out of your life. And I don't mean kick them out of your life, but stop hanging around them. If there's a person who is always with you when you fail, always with you when you act on your weakness, always with you when you do what you don't want to do, you can't blame that person. It's your choice. But success might be solitary. It's always nice to have companions with success, but failure almost always comes in a crowd. Oh, you deserve a break. You don't need to do that. They're being too hard at you at work. They're demanding too much in school. This guy on TV. No. See if there's a person that feeds your weakness. Try to be around somebody who feeds you strength. And again, this group, this social working therapist, working with drug addicts and alcoholics who failed over and over and over to stay off of their addiction. Always, there was somebody in their life they had to put at a distance. That person wasn't making them fail, but that person was always with them when they failed. Don't blame them. We succeed with others' help. We fail on our own. But there's some people you just can't be around. You cannot be around. If you're trying to have a happy marriage, all your friends can't be divorced. If you're trying to succeed in business or in school and everybody's, oh man, the man's holding it, you can't succeed with those people. They're not causing you to fail, they're just not helping you succeed. So those are the seeds I want you to work on. Your thoughts, your words, your actions. Rip out some weeds. Make some room for some seeds. Make 10 minutes. Do you know, on this vacation, and I mean, I'm telling you, it was a beautiful vacation, had a great time. You know what I did? More than I have read more out of books than I've read in months, maybe years, because I was pushing it. Warren Buffett, 500 pages a day. Well, I was trying to get to 50. I'm well over 100 now. See, I didn't even know I wouldn't try to do that on a vacation, but I just kept saying it so much that when I had an opportunity, I didn't even realize I acted on it. My name is Stephen Peterson. This program is Patterns for Progress because I want perfection's not the goal, progress is the goal. Change one habit, one routine, one pattern, throw one out that's not working, put a new one in, and watch how your life improves. Thanks so much for watching.